I feel like everybody who's in millennial generation is a Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had their a shirt from their Walmart collection.
I'm pulling it all nighter. If grown-ups can do it, there can't be that much to it. I'm pulling. Yeah. Yeah. And I would pull all-nighters with my friends, and then I was an ice skater, so my mom would pick me up in the morning from sleepovers to take me ice skating, and I would be the biggest bitch. The biggest bitch, because I didn't sleep.
That's so funny.
Because I didn't sleep.
Aww.
Yeah, she'd be like, I'm going to stop letting you sleep over. Hey! Woo! Let's go! Yeah! What is going on, familia? It's your girl, Alana J, and I am here at Bravery Studios with another episode of Act Up with Alana J. And today, y'all, you already know what it is. I only bring in the creme de la creme up in here, up in Bravery Studios. All right, my guest today, y'all, she is phenomenal. She is a seasoned Ecuadorian American writer and producer, boasting more than a decade of expertise in social first storytelling. Her work has graced the pages and screens of renowned publications and media outlets, including Pop Sugar, now known as PS, The New York Times, Entertainment Weekly, Variety, Univision, Telemundo, Huffington Post, and Uproxx. Me Too, Prime Video, yo, the list goes on and on, yo. Everybody, you're at home, but still, make some noise from your home, from the Stairmaster, from wherever you are, for Katherine Mendoza!
Not me hyping myself up. Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
You gotta hype yourself up. I mean,
know.
Did you hear all that? Did you hear what you did?
I did.
Did you hear
somebody
it?
have never heard somebody read that aloud?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I tell you a secret?
Please tell me a secret.
So I wrote that like years ago as a bio for an application. And then ChatGPT helped me with this version.
Shout out to ChatGPT.
Listen, it's like an assistant.
It is. Yeah. I'm not. Look, girl. I've been applying to adjunct professor jobs. You better believe I've been using ChatGPT as my assistant as well. Okay.
Yes.
No shame in my game. Okay.
Why?
I just don't want ChatGPT to take the screenwriter's jobs. Don't do that. Know your role. Know your place, little robot person. All right. Take a seat. But Katherine, I'm so happy to have you here, and we're gonna start with this little segment. I'm gonna call it random. Listeners, if you have a better suggestion, let me know in the comments. All right, but I'm gonna call it random because that's what it is. It's a series of random words, and we're gonna take a peek into your brain and see in a minute what words come to mind in a connection with the words I'm gonna say. All right?
Okay.
You got this. You're very articulate. We have Marv. We got a minute on the clock. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Imagination.
Pixar.
Location.
New York.
Boyfriend.
None.
Software.
Engineer.
Attitude.
Katherine.
Historian.
Historian?
Yeah, historian.
Professor.
Oh, okay, that works. Mood.
Enhancer.
Song.
Lyrics.
Length.
Penis.
I mean, I kind of said it. That's what I communicated to you to say subconsciously. Insect.
Ant.
Procedure.
Heart.
Potato.
Potato.
Editor.
Movie.
Virus.
COVID.
Pollution. Too soon. Pollution.
LA.
Climate. Oh, it's done.
Change.
Woo! Yes. Yay! You see? There was some funny in there.
I was like, could I say penis?
Hell yeah.
And I said it so low.
You did.
I said it like a kid who was like, penis.
Like, oh, I hope my mommy doesn't hear me say this. Nah, you could say it. You could say it and all the other variations of it. I don't care. Live your best life. Live your best life. All right. Let's have a round of applause one more time for Katherine's participation in Random. All right, so now you guys know a little bit about how Katherine's brain works. That's the whole point of this. All right, next up, we got another minute on the clock. Marv, are you ready for this rapid-fire interview? This is like Facebook facts, no pressure. Let's just try to keep the answers short so we can get in as many as possible. Hopefully I have enough questions, because it's possible that I don't.
Okay.
Ready? 1 minute on the clock. Let's go. Where are you from?
Brooklyn.
Where do you live?
Manhattan.
Do you have siblings?
9.
9?
Yeah.
Coño.
And I'm the youngest.
We got to get into that. Do you have tattoos?
No.
Do you have piercings?
4.
4 on the ears. We could see them.
Yeah.
Folks, look at the video. Zoom in. Look at those beautiful holes. Do you still hate blue pens?
Always.
I'm on that team with you. What is the favorite country you've ever visited?
Ghana. I don't really have a favorite, but sure.
That's lit. What's a bucket list destination?
Greece.
Oh, I heard that's sexy. Where'd you go to college?
Oneonta.
What is your favorite book of all time?
Where's Waldo?
Favorite food?
Anything with cheese.
Ooh. Yes, cheese. Yes, queso.
Just cheese.
Yeah.
Cheese.
What's your favorite cheese?
Feta. Greece. See the pattern?
I do see the pattern.
Yeah,
Okay, little Mediterranean mommy.
I'm telling you, that's where I should have been. If I was part of the ethnic whites, I would be a Greek.
The ethnic whites. Who else is an ethnic white?
Jewish people.
Okay, who else?
Polish people.
Okay, who else?
Italian people.
Okay, great.
Anybody with actual flavor.
I was hoping that you said Italian, because I am part Italian.
But that's the ethnic whites.
Okay,
It's so
good.
true.
Great,
Yeah.
great. We are an
It's just anything not Anglo.
copy. All right, folks. I hope you learned something too, because I didn't know the ethnic whites. Ethnic whites was a group, but I fucks with it. I fucks with it.
Yep.
So you went to Ghana?
Yes.
When? For what? For how long?
I technically graduated early, and they did like a middle semester in between the winter and the spring.
Okay.
And we were there for like 3 weeks, including New Year. And so I made it so that I could not only go there, take the like semester-ish abroad, and graduate there. So technically I never went back to campus, because I ended, everybody went home and saw each other the next semester, and I was like, bye. So I graduated out there.
You graduated?
I mean, I walked in the
Right.
States, but yeah, my last class.
You didn't have your cap and gown in Ghana.
Right, no. But my last class, my last everything was out there.
Wow, graduation from Ghana. That is lit. That is
Yeah.
so cool. So what exactly were you doing there?
We were with the University of Accra, like they had a program. And so a lot of it was, they were essentially teaching us the history of the slave trade. And so the hardest thing was we went to multiple castles. And so like,
Real life castles.
Yeah, like the slave castles.
Okay.
And so it was like, we saw multiple doors of no return, and we heard the history of like what the process was before they were sent on boats. It was intense. And then, I mean, we also learned the local culture in general. And a lot of it is, at the time, I think it was to change the perspective that states people have of basically what America likes to pretend Ghana is, or just Africa is in general, as an opportunity, especially for, it was majority Black and brown kids, like who went on these trips and got scholarships. So for the actual trip, because a lot of people think that's not a place people destination to.
Right.
So give that opportunity if a chance, because I think a lot of study abroads are Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Or Asia.
Yeah. So
that's amazing.
yeah, it was a great experience.
That's the one thing. I had the opportunity to study abroad, and that's the one. Well, technically, I got to make up for it in my master's. I did go to Europe, though. My freshman year, I lied. My sophomore year of high school, had I stayed in New York City, I would have gone to Spain for a third of the year. But then my dad was like, we're moving to Jersey. And I was like, I'm not going to have any friends if I stay in school here. So I'm going to go to school in Jersey. And I didn't go to Spain.
That's big.
But when I got my master's, I got to go to London and Scotland with LSU, and I got basically my first time in Europe was to act. So that was, you know, it felt like I earned it.
Yeah.
It felt like I earned it. So, but I got to go to Ghana. I got to get out. Where else have you been in the world? Now that I know this.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I feel like because of what I've done professionally, I sacrificed a lot of my 20s not traveling the way that my friends did. Because when you're trying to grind in media and all of that, it's either you get that cushy job and then vacation, or you don't. And so I've been in very limited places compared to others. So I've gone places, but not as many as I would have wanted to, being honest.
Yeah. No, that's valid. And being honest, I didn't travel much in my 20s because I was drunk all the time. And I was like, I don't trust myself to go to Spain because I'm going to get fucked up and I don't know what's going to happen. Like subconsciously. Not consciously, but subconsciously, I was genuinely afraid to travel.
I
genuinely.
think the other thing is solo travel.
Yeah.
So as a woman, right? Like I do have a lot of friends, but most of them are male friends who feel very comfortable traveling solo. And I'm like, I do think I'm at a place where I still feel I struggle with the fact that I want to go with somebody, but only for the fact of safety. I wish I could just be like, I'm out. Like we saw each other in Aruba.
Yes.
Aruba's somewhere I would go alone, right?
Yes.
But I don't know if I feel comfortable going to Europe alone. That's what I'm saying.
Interesting.
Like without a program or something like that. Like if I was part of like even those travel groups.
Yeah.
I just need to know that I've met someone and there's like a safe zone.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say, and I actually talked a little bit about this on the last episode with my friend Melissa, that I went on my first solo trip out of spite. Pretty much, yeah. Because I was supposed to take a trip with a former colleague and got uninvited from the trip at the last minute. And I knew that this is something that they wanted to do was to take a solo trip. So I was like, you know what? I'm not waiting on no fucking body. I'm booking this solo trip. So yeah,
you revenge solo trip.
Basically. And I went to Bali, my first trip out of the continent.
Yeah.
By myself. My first trip out of the continent, period. And my first trip by myself was to Bali. I basically went like as far as you could go without coming back.
Wow.
Yes. And I was it was
terrifying.
I didn't get terrified until like the night before. And I was like, holy shit, am I really about to go to the other side of the world by myself? It's like, I didn't have much money, you know? And the thing about going to Bali is because of the exchange rate, the most expensive thing is getting there.
Yeah.
Once you're there, in 10 days, I spent, and mind you, I was being frugal, but in 10 days, all my meals, travel, transportations, $100 US.
Sheesh.
In 10 days. So if you have the upfront cost, all you need is a little pocket change and you're good there. But yeah, so long story long, highly recommend. Highly recommend, and it is life-changing.
Okay.
It is
I've had a few people go and I'm
I mean Bali specifically, but like solo travel in general is like, it feels scary, but once you do it, like my sister-in-law was like, you came back different.
Really?
You came back different. And you were almost unrecognizable. And I was like, and then COVID happened like 6 months later, and all my Zen went down the drain.
That's recent then.
2019. Yeah. I mean, girl, for me, it feels like September 2019 was last week. So you know.
But also like 5,000 years ago.
Right. Yeah. Crazy. It's crazy. But okay. So let's talk about your creative journey. Let's talk about that. So in college, you studied communications, correct? Mm-hmm. And you have guys. If you haven't, drop your handle real quick
at Katherine G. Mendoza.
Yeah, because Katherine's content, she has some of the best content I've ever consumed, because you have such motivational content.
Oh, thank you.
It's real. You know, like your rants are just like. Also, do you just go off? Do you just go off the top, or do you write? Like, because
yes
I'm like,
and no.
Okay,
it's both.
Okay.
So, I mean, I especially like in the midst of COVID when there was nowhere to go.
Right.
If I had a spark of an idea, I have to really want to say it. So it can't just be like I kind of want to say it, because it won't come out.
Yeah.
Right. It'll feel forced, and I hate when something looks forced. So if I really want to say it, I do a take, and then I watch the take, and I start paying attention to the ums and ahs. So I'm editing it, and I do it about 3 to 4 times. By the 4th time, I've hit it so much that people literally said to me, "Do you not breathe?" And I'm like, I'm like, well, first you can see their cuts.
Yeah.
Right. And then the second thing is I've already edited so much by then I've perfected my speech. So it is writing, but it's not physically written.
Right. But
Or I've done bullet points sometimes.
I mean, that's super valid to say it is writing. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I've taken playwriting, and when I was in school and I had to devise a solo show, that is how I wrote, because I have a very hard time. When I was younger, I didn't have as hard of a time sitting down and just writing.
Yeah.
As I've gotten older, for some reason, like it is so stressful staring at a blank sheet. It is so stressful. So just one of my mentors was like, Alana, just talk into your phone. That's writing.
No, that's what I do.
You listen back, you transcribe, right? I mean, now we have tools that can do it for us most of the time. And so that's a tool that you just shared. That's writing, sis.
1,000%. Like I have I bought an AI transcriber that connects to my phone. What? So sometimes when I'm just in the street and I'm like, oh, that's a really good idea for an article or something, I will just speak the idea into it. It transcribes it immediately.
What is this transcriber?
I forgot the name.
Okay.
It's not sponsored, so I'm not going to say it.
It's not sponsored, but we'll share it. Share with me after the show.
And you can put it for your listeners because it's so helpful.
Yeah.
Like as a tool. Again, what I love about certain AIs is that it's a utilization thing. It's not meant to replace.
Right.
In that, for me, it's like I don't want to have to transcribe if I don't have to. But I can.
Right.
I found that, and it does different things. It could do phone calls. So I've like been on a phone call with somebody, and I will record the call into transcription.
What?
But I'll tell them, right? Like, if me and a friend are talking about something creative, I'll just be like, I'm gonna record this, and it mostly picks up my thing. It could pick up theirs, especially if they're on speaker. And it will tell you in like notes, like this was a meeting call, this was a phone call. It organizes it.
Wow.
I love, and it even has this feature that kind of looks like a storyboard.
Okay.
Like, so if I say like, okay, I have an idea for this short film, interior, they're sitting out of this, it'll put like a little emoji of like chairs.
What?
And like a little story. It's so cute. Yeah.
Yo, see, this is what I'm talking about. These are the tools. These are the things that we need to know, because it's not just utilization, it's efficiency. It allows you to do more in less time. And we are, if ever, living in a world where like we got to get it done now.
Yeah, yeah.
So y'all stay tuned for this tool. We'll figure out how to get it into the show.
Yeah.
But that's incredible. Okay, so let's go back.
Back in time.
Because I'm going to be a little bit nonlinear, and that's fine. It's because like
fine.
this is really our first real conversation.
I think so, yeah.
This is
like
our first
long conversation.
real long conversation, because we met. I'm pretty sure we met at Latinos Out Loud when you came with Gina Brion.
Jesus.
I'm pretty sure that's where we met. Again, shout out to Rachel La Loca. Rachel La Loca stays getting name dropped on this show.
Yeah.
But that's I'm pretty sure that's where we met. You came with her for an interview.
Yeah.
And you were with her.
Yeah.
And then I think the next time I saw you after that, you pulled up with Sasha Mercy to my goodbye show.
Yeah.
Before I went to school.
Downtown, yeah.
Yes. And then the next time after that was in Aruba.
Yeah, with Gina.
With
I was
Gina.
yeah.
With Gina again. So we've just had like so many serendipitous run-ins. Yeah, like from so many different circles and angles and what have you. So, okay. I got the opportunity to read your Pop Sugar articles.
Thank you.
Which, by the way, I'm just gonna say this because jealousy gets a bad rep. When those articles first came out, I was like, this is a type of stories, this is a type of shit I want to write. How do I stalked Johanna. Johanna, I don't know if you're listening, but I stalked you. I'm in your DM. It's unread, but I'm in your DM. So just so you know.
I love Johanna Ferreira. Like I just want to say that.
Yeah.
Because she's one of those people, like, there's people who say, I want to do things for the community. I want to give people opportunities. When she has budget, when she's able to, she's about that. But she's also the type of person who will, especially I do personal essays.
Yes.
She will, if I'm like, no, that's necessary in the story, she will do what is necessary to argue. Like when I say argue, I mean like advocate.
Advocate.
With her superiors. In regards to the whys, while giving everybody the warm medium, but not, I think, like shortchanging the writer. Because she's really like, if I'm here, I'm going to make sure y'all have a place to tell it as it was.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And that's rare. So that's why I'm like, Johanna Ferreira, I gotta shout her out. I love her. She's
Yes.
also one of my closest friends.
Please shout her out. Please shout her out. I'm gonna continue to slide in your DMs, just so you know. You've been warned, and so has everybody else. So, just to give some context, the pieces were about. It was kind of like the intersection of artistry and mental health, right? Or comedy and mental health, specifically.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You can please correct me because I know there was a few of them. In one of your articles, you talked about how when you were younger, it was a therapist that told your mom that you should take acting classes.
Yeah. That is the thing. Let's explore
Talk about that. Let's talk about that because that's obviously before content. That's before.
Yeah, no.
That's before all of this. So
that was me, like as a kid.
Yeah.
I do have a very lack of tradition because a lot of people like to say, Latino parents don't do therapy. I do see that in my friends.
Yeah.
But my mom, Gemini, willing to try everything.
Oh, we got an astrologer on here
I do.
too.
I love astrology.
We'll unpack.
My mom is very she eventually became Buddhist. So my mom was willing to go whatever helps.
Yeah.
I need to do it. Right. And we were in a bad situation. So she knew she needed therapy. And she was like, they need therapy. But the therapist was kind of similar to what you said. She has so much energy. Right. How does she bring out that energy? And then on top of it, it was also how does she understand human behavior? So I would later find out, this is the first time I'm actually saying this, about late last year, 2 years ago, I was told I have ADHD. And then
That's recent.
That's recent. And then late last year, because of that, autism, that I'm on the actual spectrum. And so that was a whole process of like testing. And so it made sense, like many, many years later.
Yeah.
It made sense that what they were saying was in relatability, theater will help her have the answers to human conditions because that's the whole study of it.
Yes.
But my mom was just like, get her in there so she could take out the energy.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it ended up being one of the best pieces of advice that a therapist gave.
Wow. So how old were you at this time during these acting classes as a kid?
Well, the first few, they were in classes. My mom put me into this modeling acting agency.
Okay.
So they were like, they would do spots. So I was being taught how to like try to get in the industry. Essentially, I was being professionally groomed.
Okay.
But then I would do like school theater. So it wasn't really like classes. She wasn't putting me somewhere. It was just I volunteered a lot for the after school kind of programs. Until
you found some opportunities.
She found, like my mom's the lady who, when you see a bulletin board? My mom is the stops and reads everything kind of
She's
person.
the one that's gonna take the fly. She's gonna take the piece of paper with the phone number.
Yes.
She's gonna.
And she will do it for everybody. Like if she knows you need something, she'll do it. So that's how she was. Oh, there's a community this, there was that. Yeah. But it really wasn't focused until about junior high school so that I could audition for a performing arts high school. Okay. That was when the actual, for me, it was connecting it outside of like, this is fun. This is actually a study, you know? But there was many, many years of just that and dance just to get energy out. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did you wind up going to performing arts?
I
high school?
did.
Okay.
I went to Talent Unlimited, which I like to think of as the pothead cousin of the really, the known ones. Like everybody knows. Everybody's like LaGuardia. Everybody's like, at the time, PPAS, Frank Sinatra. And then there's Talent Unlimited, which sounds like an agency.
Yes, it does.
Exactly. And that's what made it great because it was in
LLC.
We didn't have the pressure. Why I went was two things. It was sponsored at the time by MTV, and we're talking about 2002.
Oh, so MTV
I was like,
MTV was lit.
And then the second was at LaGuardia and all of that at that time, you wouldn't be able to perform until your senior year.
Really?
Like really, really perform. I don't know if it's changed, but that's what I was told in my auditions. But that
actually doesn't surprise me. That actually doesn't surprise me.
Me neither. It's because they're literally just training you till, consider it like a showcase if you must.
Right.
But I was like, I'm going to drop out of high school if I don't perform. So TU was the only one that was like, you just need to be in good academic standing and you perform every semester as long as you get into the repertory because of your academic standing. And I was like, that I can do.
Yes.
So I went to that school, which again, 300 students, very, very small. And you got that focused class because there was
300 students in the whole class?
The whole school.
The whole school. Okay.
Yeah, that's nothing when you think about it.
I mean, it's really not. It's really not.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like the first school that I went to, there was 50 girls in my whole grade.
Oh wow.
I'd say my first year was at Sacred Heart.
Oh,
the private
I've heard
school.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Those kind of things you have. Well, ADHD. So I needed that. Like, Katherine, what are you doing? What are we doing? How are you getting on this? I didn't know that at the time. I was like, it's so annoying. But I knew enough to go, I just want to perform.
Yeah.
And so that's where I went.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's so crazy. It's so crazy because like I came from the Catholic school bubble. I didn't even know there were performing arts schools.
Yeah.
Like dead ass. Like I
Wow.
think I heard of LaGuardia for the first time when I was in 8th grade. It's just crazy because I hadn't heard of Talent Unlimited. I had heard of Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Neither here nor there. This is I'm only saying this because like we're the same age. We're the same
Yeah,
age.
88?
So yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. So I'm thinking back to just like having no clue that these were even options.
Wait,
you know?
did you go to a public junior high school?
No.
That's why.
I went to Catholic school.
So we got the book. The big book
Wow,
of
y'all
New York
got
City
a-
high schools.
Y'all got a book?
We know it looked like a phone book.
That's crazy. I
And
didn't
you
get a
had to
book.
go through that book in junior high school and basically decide your fate. Like that, when I think about my first adult decision, it was 14 years old, a New York City high school book, and we had to go through every school, and it would say arts and sciences, this and that. And I had already been in my like theater troupe in junior high school, so I was like, guess that's the only one I'm looking into. So that's how I found. I mean, I had already known LaGuardia. Everybody knew that,
Right.
but that's how I found all the options.
Wow.
Because it was in the book. I don't think the book exists anymore.
Shout out to the book. The book
book.
is probably on the internet.
I
The
looked
book-
it up. It doesn't. They don't have it.
It's just the internet, you know? Like it's just insane to think. It's just insane to think about how much information is accessible to 13-year-olds now. And it's just like
So
if we-
9-year-olds.
if you ain't have a book, you didn't know. You didn't know, and I didn't know. But it's all right, because on we go. Anyway.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Alana J, and I'm here to tell you about all the magic that is happening at Bravery Studios, New Jersey's #1 podcast recording studio. At Bravery Studios, you handle all the talking and they do the rest. That's it. Seriously, all you have to do is show up and shine. Yes, honey, work. With 3 different filming locations, there's a perfect space for every type of podcast. From cozy chats to high energy shows, Bravery has got you covered. But wait, there's more. Bravery Studios hosts monthly events and podcast gatherings, perfect for networking and connecting with fellow creators. So what are you waiting for? Head over to Bravery Studios and let's make some podcast magic together. Do it. Come on. You know you want to. You know you want to.
So, okay, so we were acting,
Yeah.
acted throughout high school.
Yeah. Yep.
Was the direction at that point?
I had none.
Okay, that's fair.
Honestly.
Yeah, we're kids.
Well, beyond that, like that's a lot of what my articles are focused in. Somebody gave me a question the other day, was like, do you have big T or little T? And big trauma, little trauma. Some people just have little trauma.
Yeah,
Meaning
baby.
from their childhood. That everybody has trauma.
Right.
But some people have trauma.
Capital
I'm
T.
part of big T community.
Okay.
So I was so young that I just knew I wanted to perform. I didn't see past high school. Everything was, I didn't see past, meaning not like life or death. I mean, like I didn't have the capacity. Oh, I keep hitting it. I didn't have the capacity to go beyond this semester, this year. I just need to pass. I just need to get to be a sophomore, a junior. So I didn't have the plans of going to college for a specific thing. It was just, if I graduate high school, I'm the first one to graduate high school, and my mom's happy about that.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to get into college? Shit. Now I need to start thinking of that, but not internships, real jobs. That didn't actually happen. I literally, I guess, I don't like using this term, but when people say late bloomer, it's a version of that because I didn't realize there were kids at 14 thinking of the next 20 years. At 16, I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a thing,
Me neither.
you know? I mean, my mom used to say it, but I just thought she was being an annoying mom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Get off my ass. Yeah.
But I didn't know there was actually people planning those things and that knew that you need to get this thing to go to that thing. That didn't dawn on me until If I'm being honest, probably after I graduated college, and I was like, I planned nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Until like free Craigslist gigs woke me up.
Wow. It's for free acting gigs
No,
on Craigslist?
PA.
Oh, okay.
Because that was the thing.
production
By the
work.
time I left college, I no longer wanted to act. I was like, I think I want to be an editor. I thought that was the thing because I had taught myself how to use Final Cut. And so I was like, I think I want to be an editor. And then there was, I think I want to be a producer.
What changed? What changed as far as acting went? What made you not want to pursue that anymore, or at least like professionally?
I never wanted to do it professionally because I entered it as a means to understand myself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And human behavior.
It was just that. It was play.
Yeah.
Right? I think it was, I know exactly. I have a story.
Okay. Yes, I love stories.
Senior year of high school, the casting agent of the movie Freedom Writers
Okay.
came to our school because I guess she had gone to the school many, many years ago.
Freedom Writers was what Hillary Swank?
Hillary Swank, Patrick Dempsey.
Yes.
That, it's Dangerous Minds, but the other version. So the casting agent came and was like, we're looking to cast the Latina role. I forgot the actress who got it. She deserved it, honestly. But it wasn't, it was the experience in the room. All of us auditioned who fit the role.
Yeah.
The first issue was my instructor, professor, teacher, who at this point I'm a senior. She has met my mother. She has met me.
Yeah.
She's like, we're looking for the Latina role in this. And then she gets everybody. And I was like, you didn't pick me. And she was like, you're Latina? Oh! And I was like, that was weird. I never understood that. But I was like, whatever.
Was she a white woman?
Yeah, she was. And I was just like, but my thing is, I'm not even concerned with you looking at me and how you see me. You met my mother who can't speak a lick of English and came into, it didn't make no sense to me. I was just like, how did that slip your mind?
Yeah.
So
the dots did not connect. How?
At all. And I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. And I let it go.
Right.
Then I went into the audition. And a lot of the questions was they didn't want to say what they were looking for. And because we were young. But if you're going to walk into an industry and you're trying to teach these kids what the world is, meaning auditioning, then keep it a buck. Keep it, and they made it very awkward for me. And I was like, is this what auditioning is? I'm good. I want to be in the world somehow, but I think I'm going to shift to, and then that's where editing, directing, producing, storytelling, that was where my mind was like,
wow.
I don't think I want to go through, it's not as fun as theater.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
Like television auditioning versus theater acting?
Right. And so since my mind, that one experience changed it for me, I completely said, I done. We're done with that. I don't want to touch it at all. And then I didn't.
That, can I just say, kudos to you, though, for knowing that. Kudos to you for knowing that at a young age. They don't keep it a buck. They still don't keep it a buck. I've had experiences. I know I will continue to have experiences that just kind of make you feel yucky. They just, and I remember going into one commercial audition and, it was a white lady that was the casting director and they were looking for, it literally just said Latinas, I think. And then she's asking me, well, what kind are you?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why the fuck is that relevant? It's literally the breakdown literally just says Latina. It's like, why do you need to fucking know which one I am? Like, you know the differences. You don't. Let's be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just annoying when it's.
Well, now we know it's because you can't say certain things of what you're looking for. And I didn't know that at the time. Right. But it was how much I am an assertive person. Yeah. I had my teacher tell us, if you have something to say, don't say it. And so meaning I couldn't speak back in the audition. That also was my reason because I was like, so I can't advocate for myself. If something doesn't make sense, again, autistic. If something doesn't make sense, I'm going to be like, can you explain that? And apparently that was me going, you can't do that. So then I just kind of have to jump because you said, yeah, I'm good on this.
Right.
I'm good. And
dance monkey dance.
But you're not going to say dance monkey dance. You're going to insinuate. I don't do insinuations. We're good. This is not for me. So that was probably why I was like,
Say what you mean and mean what you say. And
but that's the industry as well. And I think the earlier you realize I can deal with it or not,
the better.
the better. Yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't start till after college acting, you know? Like I had apps, like acting kind of was therapy for me in a very non-traditional, unconventional way. And it just, honestly, it was just at the time that I started, it was just like, I don't see myself doing anything else, at least not right now. Like I talk about it all the time. It kind of saved my life, you know, where I was in my life at the time. So it's just, it's so fascinating hearing stories from people that, you know, like low key, I'm like, damn, if only I went to a performing arts high school. And then honestly, a lot of people that I know that went to performing arts high schools don't do it anymore because of these types of experiences. Like, it's just, just knowing, it just amazes me, people that know what they want at a very young age. I never had that. And I commend everyone who just had such a strong sense of self from a very early on. You know,
it's funny because I do think you have to be presented with that sense of self, but also the book, right? Because I don't know if I had the sense of self in regards to like, I know I want to be an actor, but I had that book that said, I know that's what I can do. Yeah. And so I have a place where I can do it, right? I knew enough to go, I don't want to be in my zone school in Bushwick. That's what I knew. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to go to no zone school. I'm not trying to do none of that. But I didn't have the foresight of the kids who ended up going to like the NYUs. You know what I mean? Because they knew from sophomore year, I got to get here. That was where I think all my peers who veered off either found another passion or realized that if you're starting certain things later, especially in the industry, things change. Yes. Because you have to start things earlier. That's why people go into programs, they put their kids in programs, those expensive programs. You know what I mean? Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. Wow. So, okay, again, non-linear, but on the acting topic, because you recently completed a program with a theater. Are they a theater or are they a school?
They're a theater.
They're a theater with a program. Yeah. Conservatory type of situation. Okay. So you just completed a program with INTAR.
Yeah, Unit 52.
Shout out to Unit 52. That's your group? That's your cohort?
No, yeah, that's the cohort. That's like that's
what
program.
They call it? I love it. Unit 52. Shout out. What motivated that all these years later?
Yeah. So because I had like, I'm part of the group of people who I had been already working in social. Like I had worked at BuzzFeed. I had worked at all those places as a producer for at least a few years prior to COVID. And then the world stopped and I was like, I can't put other people on camera anymore, which is what I had been doing. Yeah. Because I had nobody. But I need to learn this new tool, which was TikTok. Because I knew that whenever we go back into the world, for me to stay as a producer in social, I need to learn this tool. Yeah. So I was like, how do I learn it? I had to put myself on camera. It was necessity. It wasn't like some people really want to be famous and that's why they do it. It was just all I got is me. It was either me or like my mom. I'm not putting, because I quarantined with my mom. That's a whole different story. Yeah. So I knew I have to put myself back in there. And then I remembered that thing I just told you when I was thinking of my rants. I turned on a part of my brain that I hadn't turned on in years. And that's the actor. Right? Because there is a little performative in what I'm doing on camera. Oh, yeah. Because it's not fully, it's me. But it's like me. A heightened version of you. But that part I hadn't tapped into in a while. And I was like, okay, interesting. I'm not trying to be an influencer who's doing brand deals. But I am enjoying expressing myself once again outside of just producing, writing. Yeah. So I had heard of the Unit 52 program because I just decided when I go, I need to go back into a world. I'm going to go full speed. And at that time, I believe there were 3 plays, Bees and Honey, Sancocho, and Vámonos, last summer that were on the circuit for Latino theater in New York City. And they were doing really well. And I went to go see all of them. I went to this INTAR block party, met everybody. And I was like, I think I want to meet the theater community again. So that program presented itself. And then I was like, screw it, why not? Like, see if you feel that same feeling once again and what comes out of it. And audition. What's the worst? You don't get it.
Right.
And then I got it. And then I was like, oh, interesting. So I proved some things to myself.
And congrats to you for getting it.
Thank you. It was also, I was the only one of two who hadn't come from some type of repertory prior.
Oh, so you were like essentially the only one. Oh, yeah. Okay.
One
okay.
of two. Yeah.
So
one
besides,
was a poet before, like, well, they still are, but like we were the only ones who was like no technical experience within the last 2 decades.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was even being around like Gen Z, very serious actors, 23, 24, and you're like, I gotta meet up. I gotta do it. So that was really nice too.
Dude, that's kind of dead ass exactly how I felt when I went to get my MFA. Like, I had training from like small studios in New York City, but I didn't have any classical training. I didn't have like academic training in theater, you know? Like, I came in feeling like such an imposter. I was the only one that didn't have either a major or minor in theater, you know, as for my bachelor's. And yeah, anyway,
you got to hit the ground running.
But it also, being in that headspace and kind of having that imposter syndrome, if you will, it kind of brings you up. It forces you to level up.
Yeah.
It forces you to level up.
Right. Like, what are you made of? Because if you're really about it, then what? And I'm also very like, I don't like being in a place that I'm like, I squandered the opportunity because of what I just explained in my younger years, where I wasn't realizing that. And since I think the worst thing in life is regret, then if I'm in the opportunity, we're going to do this.
Hell yeah.
And then plus, on top of it, that the theme of my unit was the lyrical similarities of Latin and Shakespeare. So we were studying Shakespeare through the lens of its connection to Latin and how a performer of any type of Spanish descent, like meaning Spanish-speaking descent, should actually have an easier transition into Shakespeare's language because of Spanish.
Because of the language.
Because of Latin. Like, Latin is the base.
Right.
When
the
you look
romance languages.
Exactly. So that was really, I hadn't studied anything with Shakespeare since high school. So I was like, and we're not doing anything modern. I wanted to do something that felt sustainable. And for me, Shakespeare reminds me of Greek mythology. And those are things that I'm like, I'm really into this.
Ooh, so, I like this. Catherine's this is some classical shit. That's classy. That's sexy. That's nice. I love Shakespeare too. I mean, you know what's funny? I had a greater appreciation for Shakespeare when I was younger. And really, it was because of the rhyming. Like, obviously, he has verse and prose. He has both. He writes both. He, she, them, whoever it was. So that makes a lot of sense, because I mean, a lot of the romance languages are so it's pretty lyrical. It's pretty lyrical, sing-songy. Wow, that kind of just blew my mind. I never thought about it that way. I never thought about it.
So is Southern, like the country accent. Also,
it's very musical.
They would do Shakespeare well too. Think about it. Anybody with the Southern accent, if they were to read it, they would feel very comfortable. Once they understand iambic pentameter, they would understand it way more than like a Northerner.
Damn, no wonder my old ass Professor George was so nasty at Willie Shakes, killing it in Othello.
Yeah, because you were in Louisiana.
Yeah, my Shakespeare professor was nasty. His resume is insane. Shout out to George. I have to send you your book back, George. Whoops. Well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that offline, George. Anyway, wow. This is so awesome. So, again, nonlinear. Again, we have the acting. We brought that back. Oh, okay.
Hit me.
You talked about how that was something. Okay, on the post that I saw that you posted about getting into the program. You mentioned that now you have this philosophy where whenever you do something to help someone else, you're gonna now do something that scares you.
Yeah, and for me.
For you. And the INTAR acting program was one of those things.
Yes. So at the time, I had helped someone. Excuse me. They were applying for like a writing program.
Okay.
And so I know how hard it is to get the assets for that. You know, the bios, the why do you want to do this, the artist statements. And so I helped them I was like, do the portion that you do, and I will help you with the other side. And it felt fulfilling to like help them. I don't do it for just anybody, but if I care for you and I want to see you succeed. But I had done that so long for so many people. And then on the other side, I'm like, are you distracting yourself to not do the things that you need to do? Woo! And so that was like, that was hard to like say to myself because I was like, I felt so euphoric helping.
Need a sip of water for that. Relatable.
But then I was like, okay, so it doesn't have to be anything big if I do something for myself. It just has to be something, right? So that was another reason why Unit came up, like the audition came up at that time. An amazing playwright, Christian Cato. Shout out to Christian Cato. She wrote Sancocho, the one I had said was part of that dream. And I had started building a really good rapport and relationship that has grown to this day. And she gave me an option to do an excerpt of one of her plays that had only been produced once. But she was in the unit prior, which in a way was a little bit of a referral because she was part of unit. So anybody who's been in other classes, you know, so I was like, the elements are there. Like you can do the audition. You've told yourself, do something for yourself. And someone who barely knows you from Adam, but believes in you is saying, use my piece. I believe you'll get in. So I had to. Yeah. Right? It was like a challenge, which I feel a lot of people stop doing as we get older.
Right, because we get scared. The older we get, the scarier shit that's not familiar to us gets.
Right.
It just.
It's also this idea. I loathe the idea of I'm too old for that. I was, again, me and two other people in my course were in our 30s. Right.
Yeah, I was in my 30s in grad school. I feel you.
I feel like people who go, I feel so like out of touch. That's not the approach I had. I looked at it as I'm at an age where, no offense to none of them, they were all lovely, love them as people. But because I'm not your age, because I'm not a kid, I don't care to impress none of y'all. Right. I don't care. I'm here for me. Yes. And I was like, I wish more older people did things with that in mind.
Right.
Where you just go in like going, that idea of I'm too old is actually that younger version of you trying to impress. Yes. Where the older version should be only trying to grow, like going, how do I get something out of this? What did I come here for? Right. You know? So that's also been part of the challenge. Yeah. How do I change that, shift that part of me that has the fear of imposter age?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, you made another video of yours that I watched recently. You made a comment about not this specifically, but it's kind of the same idea where, you know, people are kind of afraid to post on social media because it's like, you know, someone's going to see it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But fuck what they see. Who cares? And yeah.
Yeah, you don't see them seeing you.
Right.
So
at least on
benefit.
social. At least on social.
Right. You don't see them seeing you. That's the benefit.
Right.
If you're going to post. Even if you're on stage, right? You do see them, but if you're unless you're a comedian, like a stand-up comic, because stand-up comics do feed from, but if you're a performer, you can go into a zone of another part of your mind that sees them but doesn't see them in the ways of your insecurity. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. It does make sense. And as someone that does stand-up comedy and theater acting, I will tell you that there have been times on stage where something will be going on in the audience and I won't know until after the show. Somebody will be like, "Oh, you didn't see blah, blah, blah happen?" And I'm like, "What do you?" I was in it.
Yeah,
I was in it.
Yeah.
So
it's a thing, and it's a skill you have to learn, but it's also how you have to approach things. And I think that a lot of people are doing it just because they want people to see it. They're doing it for others. And I'm like, that sucks.
It does suck.
That sucks. Like, if people like it, amazing, great. You find your people.
Yeah.
If they don't, amazing, great, whatever, right? But do you like it?
I'm gonna be completely honest with you, Katherine. That is my struggle with social media. Is that I've had pockets where there are things that I feel like I am doing for me and I am creating from a place of joy. But when it comes to social media, it's so hard for me to not just think of it as like a fucking obligation and an obligation for people to see me doing the thing. Because really quickly, just to give you like a little bit more of backstory about me, it's like now that we're in 2024, I started acting, whatever, what fucking year did I start? I don't even know. Maybe 2014, 2013, something like that. And low key, like bringing on people like yourself, bringing on like other content creators who have been doing content for like 10, 14 years. I've been having this thought like, damn, all the time I invested in sharpening my sword with the craft of acting. Yeah. Should I have just been making fucking content? You know what I mean? Like,
I'm sweating. That's how real this is.
It's real. It's really real because you know, I know what I'm capable of. I know that I'm talented, blah, 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 right? We all know that entertainment is not a meritocracy. The best people are not necessarily the ones that get the opportunities.
Yes.
And it can be really challenging when you see people in positions that respectfully, you're not really qualified to be in.
But what is qualification?
What is
right?
qualification?
In Hollywood, what is qualification? And I
what
think
is qualification?
The amount of because who quantifies what?
I'll act circles around you, bitch, and I'm just kidding.
And that could be true, right? But somebody else, like I said this to one of the unit actors. I think on one of our last days, we were all talking, and they said the same thing about social. And what's fascinating is that I'm not an advocate for social in regards to everybody needs to be an influencer, because in reality, in my opinion, an influencer is just a gateway to advertising and marketing. That's it. That's all it is. So when people go, I aspire to be an influencer, I'm like, so you want to be in advertising and marketing, right? You want to be Flo from Progressive. Like Progressive?
Yeah. Right, yeah. Shout out to Flo from Progressive.
Yeah, like...
and my panties.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you want to be that. And here's the irony.
Yeah.
Back in the day, the people in the commercials were actors who wanted to be actors. I'm like, now the people in the advertisements are influencers who want just brand deals. But then there's these in between where it's like, but do I want to be an actor? But do I want to be a this? Cool. Figure it out. Put yourself in a program and actually dedicate to that.
Right.
But for the actors on your end,
yes,
the comedians who
definitely
all say,
comedians.
I find it as a burden and all that. That's where the producer in me goes up, because like I said, I've been producing for a while for the internet. I go, so you don't like visibility, because that's all it is. It's you being visible the way that an audition room does, the way that a showcase does. It's visibility. And if you understand that now you have more access to visibility than you ever did, the question is, what do I put out there that shows my skill, doesn't water me down to a place where you feel like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to keep doing this.
This question is what I need to answer for myself. Keep
exactly.
Going.
And where, and then how do I find the audience? And when I say audience, I mean just people who mess with your stuff, right?
Right.
That then I can go into a room as a comedian, and for instance, you win, you go to Just for Laughs, right? You do well that year. Now you're in every meeting possible, right? And the thing they're going to ask you, they're not really concerned with what's your story, what kind of show. Yeah, they're going to ask you that. But really it's, what's your numbers?
Right.
Right? And so that, if you just have it in your pocket, amazing, let's move on to the next thing. Yeah. But if your whole thing is, well, you know, I'm not really a social person, why are you here? Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't care how talented you are. That room needs to make money. And you just told me you're not going to help me make money. But you already knew the rules of the game. It changed with social, and you don't want to play it. And I've said that to actors, and they're like, but that's not the art. Then do theater.
Right.
But if you want to get into Hollywood, play the game, be strategic as chess.
Right.
Right? How do I get on social? How do I go? I know I'm going to do crowd work. Right? There's people who just do crowd work.
Yeah.
If they're a comedian. If they're actors, I'm like, why don't you put up a creative way to show you doing certain types of monologues? So you become that person who like, yo, she does da-da-da-da-da. Right? You're still being an actor, clearly. You're not selling yourself short and doing things that, like, I don't know, if you feel like some people are like, I don't want to be a dancer on, cool, then don't do that.
Right.
But you're not finding the you thing that makes people go, I just like her page because she goes on and does Shakespeare and I've never seen it done the way she does it.
Yeah.
Cool. A casting agent, a studio head could see the same thing and go, or right before you walk into the room, they watched your stuff and they go, yeah, we love the following you just brought up. It's strategy. Right. So if you're not in the game for the business and the art, then just do the art.
Right.
But that's what starving artists are.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a whole fact. That's a whole fact. And one of my teachers brought this up because when I was in school, I mean, I was putting some content out, but like I had rehearsal. I was
but that's different.
14-hour days. I didn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Coming out, I'm like creation, right? That's why I'm doing the podcast now. Shout out to Marv, you know, because I do get this is going to be, I have hours and hours and hours of content from this. So this is, you know, this is one step that I'm taking in that direction, which is something that like, this is fun for me. I love this.
Yeah.
I studied radio. Everybody's heard this 12 times on the fucking show now, but I wanted to take Angie Martinez's job, all right? So I love this. You know what I mean? I have to approach content, social, as, okay, as an actor, you are your business.
Yes.
If you want to be in the business, you are your business. So you have a survival job. The person that goes to the survival job is your CFO. That's your CFO.
Yeah.
That's my CFO is the person that shows up and personal trains people. That's how I put money in my pocket. Yeah. Your CMO, your marketing officer, is the one doing content.
That's you.
Doing social. Yeah. So, you know, this paradigm shift, it's starting to kick in, but I need a plan. So maybe I'll consult with Katherine after the show.
No, I've literally even thought, like, I've worked in social so much. I don't want to professionally do a consulting business, but I could literally charge for this because I'm like,
you could.
I can just watch your page. I have the skill that I would say the biggest blessing of the Mickey Mouse Club that was BuzzFeed in like 2015 till about 2016, 17. Like anybody who ran through those doors at that time.
Because that's where you were working at the time?
That's where I was working. Was given the keys to understanding how to commodify the internet outside of YouTube. Does that make sense? Like we were given a certain set of like how to look at a video, how to do, it was data. A lot of people don't realize BuzzFeed wasn't an entertainment company. It was a data company. So every week we would sit in a room and look at our videos and then go, why did that work? How do we replicate that? Look at the numbers. Look at the comments. The comments tell me my next video. The comments tell me why it wasn't working. Instead of taking it personal, which you could, going, okay, cool. I see what you like and I see what you don't like. And if you are a person who goes, there's no such thing as bad publicity, you could even bank off of something that was a bad comment.
Right.
The point is, can you get enough away from it to go, this is going to help me get to that next thing? I can teach that to someone, or I can just tell somebody, I've done this. I've literally, with at least 2 different people, but again, people who I gave favors to.
Yeah. I
sat, looked at their socials and said, if you want me to really critique you, it's going to be constructive. I'm going to give you a full out plan on how this video did well. And can you answer me why? Usually
they can't.
They can tell me why they think it did well.
Right.
But I'm like, no. Look at the data on your video.
Yeah.
What did it tell you it did well? You know what I mean? And what they won't notice is something like, well, there's more women than men there. So what did the women like? Okay, let's look at where they dropped off. What were you saying when they dropped off? Did you have too many ums and ahs? Okay, you need to trim that. It's stuff like that.
Yeah.
People don't think about that. Once you figure all that out, you could create a template for yourself. And then you know all of my social clips, like all of these kind of clips, essentially I'm pin and plopping selects because I already know my template.
Woo!
Yeah.
Catherine taking me to school. Social school, baby. Social school. Well, look, I know that that's not something that you really want to do, but I will barter with you if you want, and we can talk about that. We can talk about that offline as well because I'm like I need help. I'm the type of person that I'm not afraid. Yeah. I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not afraid to say that I don't know what I'm doing. I think most people don't know what they're doing. They're just, they just do, and you trial and error, right? Yeah. But as far as that goes, especially because I want to be successful, that's the whole fucking point. Yeah. Like I gotta do what it do. Anyway, and keep up with the children. God, y'all children. Well,
Well, this is their world. Like this, to them, this is not a chore because it's themselves. To them, it's what they do.
I mean, yeah, 20-year-olds, they've been on Instagram for 10 years?
Exactly.
Already?
But if you think about it, we are the first, like, to have everything. To have before the internet and after
We are the
internet.
only.
So we're actually the only generation that knows how to adapt. Why is it we've gotten to our 30s and now people stop wanting to adapt? I look at it as, oh, okay. So the competition of willingness, the pool is getting thinner. That's all it is. Because if you're not willing to go, I need to adapt. Like back in the day, people didn't want to adapt to email. Right? They didn't want to adapt to the
Text or
any of that. And then how did that work out? It didn't. So same concept.
it's a part of us.
It is just what we are. And so my thing is find for me, find how you don't what is it? Like I don't want to say water down. Oh, how I don't look at this in 20 years and go, I'm embarrassed at myself. That's all I care about.
Same.
When I look at something in the future and I go, no, I know why I did that at that time. But I think a lot of people are doing things that is just like, because I know it will go viral because you're doing it for shock factor. I'm like, that's not going to help your acting career. That's not going to help your being a comedian, just going for that low hanging fruit. You wouldn't do it on stage.
Right.
So why are you doing it on the internet? So
Yeah.
it's a stage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I'm willing to talk to you about that because I do feel like a lot of our successes, like you said, so much skill you have, just this one thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I have that, and I'm trying to figure out where to go with my writing. That's why I'm writing these articles.
And Catherine's you're a phenomenal writer.
Thank you.
You are a phenomenal writer.
Thank you.
And that's why I asked about just your social content as well. Because I'm like, damn, even this rant is beginning, middle, and end. Coño, call back, everything. Everything.
I did do a callback.
You be doing that. You be doing that. All right.
I'm sweaty, sorry.
Girl, I'm sorry. I'm sorry too. We are gonna have to wrap up in a little bit.
Yeah.
I did want to ask really quickly, how did you get involved with Gina Brion?
Ooh,
That sounds like I'm asking you it sounds like I'm asking you about your sexual history with her. That's not what I'm asking.
how did I become involved?
Because I met you with her, and then I know that you write and produce some of her stuff for her.
Well, I have, yeah. I just finished
for her comedy specials.
Yeah, this last one, not the former ones.
Yeah.
This last one I did co-write this one. How did I meet Gina? I was asked this question the day she taped her special. And I didn't know how to answer it because I don't think about it often. Yeah. So actually, when I graduated college and I said I had the Craigslist jobs, literally it was like this one job. It said it was looking for a PA, not paid. It was in the Times Square Comedy Club that's no longer there.
LOL?
No, like you know the one right in front of what used to be Sbarro's?
Uh-huh.
That was the theater, like a comedy club.
Okay. Yeah.
It was in there. It was called the Two-Night Show con Lorenzo Paro. And Lorenzo Paro, the Two-Night Show
Con
Lorenzo Paro. And Lorenzo is a clown. Yeah, he's a clown from Spain. So he came here, him and his producer.
Not like Hong Kong
No,
clown,
like
y'all.
Hong Kong.
Oh, like Hong Kong?
Like Hong Kong. He was a clown.
Like Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Just kidding.
He was a professional clown.
He did like the clown school and all of that, though? Okay. All right. Because there's levels to clowning, y'all.
No.
My bad.
He was clown. Yeah. And like that
Shut
was.
up, Alana.
That was his thing. But he wanted to, which I look back at it and I'm like, so many people have such great ideas. They just don't have the platforms. But he wanted a late night show with a Latino host. And so what they were doing was self-producing a show that they would then sell, like Univision has these spots in the middle of the night where you can basically pay to put your show on it.
Ah.
Yeah. And so that's what they were doing.
Kind of like public access?
Kind of, but it's actually Univision.
But it's for Univision.
Yeah. But it's because of the slots. I think it may have changed now.
Okay.
But they were looking, because it was self-produced, they were looking for, we're talking about when internships could be unpaid because it was like resume builder, right?
Yeah, I did a few free of those, and I got a few class action lawsuit checks.
I wish.
Shout out.
I have none of those.
Shout out to unethical bosses.
I need somebody to sue somebody. But I was the PA. She was the comedian on, I think, like 3 episodes.
Okay.
And at the time, she was dating somebody who was also part of the crew. That she's spoken about it many times. That wasn't a great relationship. And he didn't really allow us to get to know each other. So we would just like, when I would, as the PA, would have to bring her lunch, I would kind of chat with her and we would kind of like have a little moment, but we didn't really get to talk. So 5 years go by because she's in this relationship. We completely have no idea of each other. I go to stand up New York one night because somebody got like a Groupon. You know, the Groupons for like, oh, go see comedy.
Right.
And I think the dude I was dating, it was like one of those. I'm coming out of the show, and at the bar, she's standing there. And I'm like, I know this chick. I don't know how I know this chick. So I go up to her and I was like, yo, I know you. I think we worked together. And she was like, really? And then it dawned on me. She was like, yeah. And I picked her up. I was like, yo, you want to go to coffee? Because I wanted to know you back then. You still with him? She was like, no, we just recently broke up. I was like, cool. And then that's it. Like after that, it was just like, we became the friends that I think we should have become
back then
if it wasn't for Pendejo, the clown.
Ugh. Dicks be getting in the way sometimes.
Yeah.
I love that. I've slid in females' DMs before, like, hey, I think we should be friends. I do it. So, ladies, shoot your shot with your gal pals, okay?
Yeah.
Shoot your shot. All right. So, before we wrap up, I got to ask 2 questions really quickly. The name of the show is Act Up. The whole concept is, repurposing the idea of acting up into something positive. We are taking action to elevate. So, what is one way that you think people can act up today?
In anything?
In anything. We covered a lot, but
yeah. Oh my Lord.
For life, not for creativity per se. Let's say for life.
For life. These are 3 things my mother just talked about. Act up and taking accountability for understanding that life is about adjustment. It's about acceptance and it's about forgiveness. And it starts with yourself. So if you have the courage to act up and keep yourself accountable to those 3 things, you can do it for others. And I think that's where you find peace.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love accountability. Love a little bit of accountability. Right.
And that's not even accountability for others.
For self.
That's when you just go, damn.
Yeah.
That's me. 'Cause
that's me.
It's all here first.
It definitely always starts with you. So
I'm a PBS special.
Last question. If you were writing your memoir right now, what would you call this chapter in your life?
It's always that deep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn. I'm gonna need to re-listen to this one a few times. It's always that deep, because it is.
It is always that deep.
It is.
People love to say it's not that deep, but isn't it?
Especially as we get older, everything is that deep.
Yeah.
Well, this has been an amazing conversation. I look forward to working with you in any and every capacity that aligns for us. One more time, just let the listeners know where they can find you, and we'll put it in the show notes as well.
You can find me on my socials, which is my name. A lot of people don't have their full government. So it's my full government, Katherine, Katherine, G.Mendoza, or Katherine, Yeah.
Okay.
Or
Did you write it down?
Google that for my Pop Sugar articles.
Please Google her Pop Sugar articles. They are incredible.
They're linked on my Instagram.
Link in bio.
Yeah, literally.
All right. They're pinned to the page. Read them. You will be forever changed. And on that note, it's been another episode of Act Up with Alana J. Make sure to subscribe, follow, all that. Leave us a review. We love you. Bye. I'm